Hello again, baseball lovers. Jason joining you for a new episode of our Fans Journey series as we listen to and share your stories about baseball fandom. And this week, we're sharing your stories. I've taken a break on sharing my personal journey so we can make sure and connect with other fans from all over the country. And we got a really awesome story coming to you today. I got to tell you guys, when this gentleman sent us his story, I immediately said, got to have him on to share this. This is great stuff. This kind of encapsulates the romantic about baseball theme that we have. And so I am going to, first of all, let this gentleman introduce himself, tell us a little bit about himself, and I hope I get your last name right here. This is Rob Weber.
Yes.
And Rob, if you, first of all, welcome. We really appreciate you sharing that story and coming on to share it with our audience. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your love of the game of baseball.
Oh, okay. I was born in the Chicago, Illinois area, just north of Chicago, and came to love baseball in probably the worst possible year I could have. The 1969 Cubs were
Yeah.
my first and favorite team, and they famously blew it and allowed the Mets into the World Series.
Yeah.
But that was my team with Ernie Banks and Ron Santo and Billy Williams and Fergie Jenkins. Just loved those guys and followed them. My father worked for United Airlines. And when I was about 13 years old, he had the opportunity to transfer from Chicago out to San Francisco. So the family moved out to the San Francisco Bay Area, specifically near San Jose, California. And now I'm exposed to the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. So I've got two teams I can go to. I was a huge baseball fan. I collected baseball cards back when collecting baseball cards meant this is the only way I can find out who these guys are
Right.
because there's so little baseball on TV. Now, Jason, I don't know if in Chicago, I was able to see 149 of the 162 games on TV. So I thought that was normal. You get to watch your
Yeah,
games on
absolutely.
TV.
As a Braves fan, I can concur. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Come out to California, you get 30 games a year,
Mm.
30 games that you can
Mm.
watch. Um, and so you're starved for baseball and you don't know a lot of the players. You can read the newspaper and get the stats, but baseball cards was how you learned who the players were, where they were born, what teams they'd been with, what their stats were, what they looked like. Um, so I had a pretty large collection, which I sold off several years ago. Um, but it was my passion, baseball. Uh, I played a little bit, um, played some in high school. Wasn't that good, um, but back in love with the game again when I had the opportunity to go to a San Francisco Giants fantasy camp.
Nice.
Um, I don't know if any of your viewers are familiar with the concept, but I just thought, well, geez, this is where I can prove that I'm a good player. And
Yeah.
as it turns out, nobody cares. You are there. You're there with uh, families. You know, there's fathers and sons and daughters playing on teams together.
Yeah.
The idea is you spend a week with former pros and they teach you what it's like to be in a baseball clubhouse and live baseball for a week. It's
Awesome.
it's a wonderful vacation if anybody's ever considered doing it.
Yeah.
Most of the teams have their own fantasy camps. So I did that several times. I went to Giants camp. I went to Los Angeles Dodgers camp in Florida. It
Go
was
there.
a lot of fun. But I came back to the Bay Area, and you're going, well, geez, I can't be spending $5,000 a year to go to these camps all the time.
Yeah.
So we created our own league here in San Francisco Bay Area called the West Coast Fantasy Baseball Association.
Very
Um,
cool.
if people are wondering what the level of play was like. The two biggest adult baseball organizations are the National Adult Baseball Association and the Men's Senior Baseball League. I would say we were a step below that because we were all inclusive. If you've been to fantasy camp, you can play in the league. We modified the rules a little bit to make the games operate and move at a swift pace.
Did you have a pitch clock, Rob? Was there a pitch
We
clock?
did not have
A
a
pitch
pitch
clock.
clock.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
We didn't. Uh, I'll give you a few examples.
Yeah.
There was no stealing because
Okay.
we didn't have enough catchers that could throw down to second base.
Okay. Sounds good.
We didn't really have wild pitches. If the pitch reached the backstop, then we gave the runner an extra base.
Fair enough.
So if the catcher was able to get a piece of the ball,
Yeah.
some of the batters would have runners from home plate. So there'd be somebody off to the side that would run down to first base for him.
Nice.
And the ages were anywhere from 30, and our oldest player was in his 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And it was,
sounds like my kind of thing, man.
yeah, it's a brotherhood or a sisterhood.
Yeah.
It's a way to see your friends every weekend. We travel around the Bay Area to different high school and college fields and play on some nice fields and have about a 15, 16 game schedule.
Yeah.
Those morph into tournaments up and down the West Coast, San Diego, Fresno, different places where Sacramento, where we play against other fantasy camps. So
Yeah.
we played against the Dodger campers, the Padre campers, the Angels campers, the A's. So we'd have these little tournaments. Even we went to Arizona one year and rented out a complex down there and played on 3 different diamonds at the same time.
Rob, I've had dreams about this. I mean, this sounds amazing. I was never a very good ball player myself, but that sounds just fantastic. There's nothing like being on a baseball field, a glove, and when you get to our age, it's a rare opportunity. So that's absolutely amazing. Amazing.
The budget for something like this is, a 3-day tournament weekend. We're trying to keep the cost to the player at around a couple $100 for the games. We get a nice hotel, get a block of rooms, we get a banquet dinner. Sometimes we'll hire a guest to come in and entertain. We'll get comedians or musicians or something like that. Wow. And it's camaraderie. And some of the tournaments are almost 30 years old now that we did. So
that's fantastic. That sounds like something I could. Man, if I lived in California, I'd be there.
So I was going to tell you a little bit about what happened during the pandemic. A lot of my friends were California. The way the pandemic was treated, rightly or wrongly, we were pretty much cut off from our friends and family. You kind of nested in a pod of people that you felt you could trust to try to get through this. I'm not saying what was right or wrong, but many of my friends got COVID, and it wasn't too bad because it was contained.
Right. Yeah. So
the only way we could kind of be with each other was this fabulous new thing we were all learning about, Zoom, the thing that we're on right now.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So we started out, there'd be 3 or 4 of us. Hey, let's do a happy hour. Let's drink and talk baseball and whatever else is going on in our mind. And we realized quickly on, wow, what a great thing for our mental health, to be able to go out and speak to somebody. And the guys were going, well, why does it have to be an hour? It's not like anybody has any place to go.
Right.
We're home. Nobody's driving anywhere. So the hours became 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes where we're just talking about life. Well, one of the guys comes up one day and he says, well, we're running out of things to talk about on these calls. We need to have homework, topics to talk about.
Yeah.
And those those became sports topics. Like, name your top 5 favorite baseball players and why.
Yeah.
And guys would come to these calls with PowerPoint slide presentations. Here's why this
Yeah.
player is the best player ever.
Very cool.
Guys were laughing, just having a great time doing this. Around 2022, I was introduced to some guys that had a little startup company called Mic'd Up. We've all heard the term Mic'd Up, but they actually have a copyright for it.
Oh,
And
wow.
they have a free app that you can get online. And they approached me and they said, well, can you help us out getting some guests for the platform? And I was working with some professionals like Rick Barry, the former basketball player, and Pip Roberts, the old baseball player. They were on the platform. And I said, well, how about if I do a show? And they said, no, we're not interested. And I said, well, I think you need to work out the platform. The platform allows you to do 4 screens at one time. So you can have a guest or
Yeah.
3 guests and a host, or a couple of hosts and 2 guests. And I said, that's what we want. We want 4 screens. And they said, all right, you guys can have a show. This past Wednesday, we did our 121st show on the platform.
Awesome.
And we are called the Highlights from Lowlifes.
Yes.
Essentially, what we are is a group of guys that get together and talk about a topic that's thrown out a few days in advance. Most of the guys have to go do some homework so they're ready for the show. There's 9 of us that are rotating through talking about various topics every week. For example, last week we talked about the ramifications of gambling in baseball.
Yeah.
We talked about the past. You mentioned you did a show about the Black Sox. We talked about them. We talked about Pete Rose. We talked about FanDuel, DraftKings, Emmanuel Clase, and so forth.
Yeah.
Real good show. The guys I'm doing this with were, of course, on the Zoom calls with me back in the day, but they've also become close friends for another reason. We promised ourselves on the Zoom call that once the pandemic was over, we would do 1 baseball trip a year. There was initially 6 of us. And in 2021, we went to Cooperstown, New York, and spent 4 days taking in the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure some of your guests are going, how do you spend 4 days in one building? It's hard to explain. Some of the guys would go back through several times to see everything. I think it's a two-day trip myself to go through everything.
Okay. I haven't made that trip yet. Looking forward to doing it. So that's good information to know. Yeah.
Well, Jason, what's interesting is the town is part of what you want to see outside of the hall itself.
Okay.
So there's a Doubleday distillery there with baseball themed decanters.
Nice.
Every store along the 3 or 4 blocks of downtown contains baseball memorabilia of some kind.
Wow.
Some stores have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jackets from the Phillies, from all of their different logos, the Braves, all of their different logos. You can get Boston Braves, Milwaukee Braves, Atlanta Braves stuff.
Man.
And it's brand new.
Get me excited. Get me excited here, Rob.
Yeah. The restaurants and bars are all catering to the clientele. And I'm trying to remember the name of the hotel. I think it's called the Otsego.
Yeah.
That's where the Hall of Famers, when they come into town for the ceremonies in August, that's where they stay.
Okay.
And we went down into the bowels of the hotel, and there's a little basement area, and on the wall are goblets, one for each living Hall of Fame member. When they come in there, they use that glass for all of their drinks.
That's extremely cool.
Yeah.
Extremely cool.
When they pass away, it goes to another wall. but this is where everybody stays and then walks up the hill to the hall. So we had 4 wonderful days there. 2022, our next trip. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? We did St. Louis and Kansas City. So we covered Missouri.
Yeah.
St. Louis is just one tremendous baseball town. We There's a 3-block radius around the stadium, which is basically a baseball fan's playground.
Yeah.
But Jason, our first night, we did not sit in the stadium. We sat in the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame across the street, where you can look into the stadium above the left field wall, and we watched the game there. The Cardinals fans loved us. We were wearing our San Francisco Giants jerseys, and they came around. They wanted pictures with us.
Nice, nice.
Drove across the state to Kansas City, met up with some friends there, and went to the Negro Baseball Museum. And the proprietor, Bob Kendrick, met us and gave us a private tour of the facility, which is actually quite small. You can do it in about an hour.
Okay.
But Major League Baseball just recently donated $5 million to the cause, and they're going to be expanding that. So
I've heard really good things about it, even as it is.
oh
Everybody
yeah,
tells me I've got to go see that, and we've got a Royals fan on the team, and he is all about anything in that area, and I'm going to get up there to see that. I'm going to get up there to St. Louis, got to see it. But also with Kansas City, we did have Greg Pryor on and did an interview with Pryor, who's on the '85 championship team. So we have a lot of connections to the Royals, but everybody has told me you got to see the Negro League Museum. So that's really cool to hear.
yes, yes. A couple of things that are unique about the area and the museum itself. Geddy Lee, the bassist and lead vocalist for the band Rush, he has the largest collection of Negro League autographed baseballs in the world, and they're on display at the museum.
Wow.
So Bob was showing this. He says, "I'd never heard of Rush, but now I'm a big fan." And the area where the museum is the Jazz District in Kansas City. So all the jazz musicians were arriving as we were leaving the museum to set up for an evening of jazz in the downtown area. Just a wonderful thing. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Crowds were coming in. So it's a great place to go. We went to 2023. We went to Milwaukee and Chicago. So Milwaukee has the Brewers, of course, and we saw the Brewers play our San Francisco Giants in a couple of games, and then we took the train down to Chicago to see both the Cubs and White Sox facilities. But for fans going to Milwaukee, there's a couple of things you got to do. You have to see the Bobblehead Museum. The National Bobblehead Museum is in a quiet part of town. It's a couple of floors worth of bobbleheads. A lot of them are sports related, and a lot of them are not.
Yeah.
There are bobbleheads for sale. There are unique bobbleheads that nobody else has. It's a fun little place to go. You've got to do it.
Awesome.
We stumble out of there and we go across the street to the Broken Bat Brewery. The Broken Bat Brewery has all baseball themed beers, and we got a private tour from the owner. And he says, "What I'm about to show you is very unique. I know of no other brewery like it." During the pandemic, the owner felt bad for his employees who were cut off from a lot of their friends and family. They would come in and do their job and basically didn't have anybody else to hang with. He took one brewery tank out of the brewery and put in a wiffle ball field. And now his employees were playing wiffle ball every day and just loving life, having
Amazing.
getting a workout and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
amazing.
When the pandemic was over, they were going to take down the wiffle ball field, but the decision was made after much pleading that it be left in place. And now there are 6 leagues rotating through playing
Wow.
wiffle ball in the brewery almost all day long and into the night.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's
That's
just a
that's
great place.
amazing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
And we got down to Chicago. I grew up, as you know, in Chicago. I in a town called Crystal Lake. Our train went through Crystal Lake, and we ended up in Chicago. We through a connection of ours got some really nice seats to see a couple of Cubs and Reds games. We went to the Billy Goat Tavern, which everybody should go to.
Yeah.
We went to Pequod's Pizza, which everybody should go to. Uh, just a wonderful town for baseball. Um, took a car ride over to Comiskey or New Comiskey or whatever it's called, where the White
Yeah.
Sox play. Was told that was not a great part of town, but you can't pass up the stadium. It's just gorgeous, just a beautiful place. So that was our third trip. Our fourth trip was Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. And the night we arrived in Washington, D.C., was the congressional baseball game that's played in the stadium between the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is some of the worst baseball you've ever seen,
I can imagine.
played
Yeah, they
by.
play ball like they govern, and I mean both.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about playing ability, Jason. It's about the complete lack of knowledge of the rules of the game,
Yeah.
which is actually a lot of fun to watch. It's on the local television stations. You
Oh
can,
wow.
I think the final score was 35-18 or something, and they got
Did
like,
you guys plan to see that, or it just happened to work
no,
out?
no, it just happened to be there. Uh,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
uh, we saw a couple of games in DC. Um, we made our way down to Baltimore and saw a couple of games at one of the most beautiful parks. The Oriole Park is so nice.
We went this past season, my wife and I, and it was amazing. We
Yes,
loved it.
just
We loved it.
it's just a dream to walk around the stadium and
Yeah.
take in what they built there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um, Before that, we attended Babe Ruth's home.
We did
Um,
that too. Yeah.
I guess Jason, the best way would describe this is he was uh, this is where he was sent to live
Yes.
um, when his parents broke up. I think maybe his mother died and his father didn't have the wherewithal to raise him, so he was basically growing up in a boarding house, and it's very small.
Very small. Yes.
Um, um, but interestingly, we were walking around there, and down in the basement, Eric Davis and Jeffrey Hammonds were signing autographs, so we met
Oh
them.
wow. We
Yeah,
weren't that lucky. We weren't that lucky.
but that was a lot of fun. Go down to Philadelphia. Um, Different experience there. Your Philadelphia stadiums are not downtown.
Yeah.
They're all together, kind of off property, and it takes a bit to get there. And they've
Yeah.
made like a big sports complex. But again, Philly's a beautiful ballpark as well. So
Yeah. Looks like
nothing
it.
to complain about.
Yeah.
And our last trip was in on each of these trips, we've got anywhere from 6 to 8 guys going. But now we're getting more popular. More and more people want to go and experience part of the trip. And we got ambitious this past year. We started out in Louisville, Kentucky, did some whiskey tasting, went to the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory,
Oh,
and saw a Louisville Bats game. Drove up to Cincinnati, saw a couple
short
games.
drive.
Yeah,
That's a short
there.
drive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's 90 miles.
Yeah.
Saw the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and got personalized tour by the proprietor there, Rick Walls.
That's an amazing, like every baseball fan, Reds or not, you should see that. It's
Right.
really cool. It even has some Negro League stuff in there. Just my wife and I made that trip. We went to Louisville. I'm a big bourbon guy. So we did the same thing. We did some bourbon tasting and drove up to Cincy, and we actually drove from Louisville to Chicago to catch the Cubs at Wrigley because I'd never been to Wrigley. So yeah, I haven't done Comiskey or whatever we're calling it these days, but we did that trip. So yeah, absolutely. That's an easy drive. So for all our listeners, if you're ever in Louisville, really super easy to catch a Reds game if they're at home. 90
Yes.
miles, and you've got to see that Hall of Fame. It's fantastic.
Yes. Yes. So Cincinnati was a lot of fun for us, but we had planned, okay, now we're going to go up to Cleveland, which is actually kind of a long drive. It's about 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And we're saying to ourselves, that's 3.5 hours without baseball. What are we going to do? So we stopped in Columbus and caught a Columbus Clippers game,
Beautiful.
which was a heck of a lot of fun. Um, Beautiful ballpark with a building outside the left field wall where we were able to hang out in a bar and watch the game from the second floor. Um, Caught that game and then got ourselves into Cleveland to see a Guardians game. But that was not the first thing we did once we got to Cleveland was we took a tour of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, gotta do that.
got out there, and most of the guys were into rock and were able to find out if their favorite band had received any consideration or were actually in the hall.
Right.
You can do the whole thing in a few hours. Um, Caught a Guardians game, enjoyed the area around there, and then the final leg of the trip was a drive over to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is only about 130 miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a private tour, and I can't stress enough how important it is for everybody to do this. If you're going to Pittsburgh, you have to go to the Roberto Clemente Museum.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
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 The building and the area in which the building is in is not going to light your socks on fire. It is kind of a rundown part of town. But we got the proprietor there, Dwayne Reeder, to allow us to have a private tour. He gave us a tour of this. And what it is, it's an old firehouse that he bought for $7.
Wow.
If he didn't buy it, they were going to bulldoze it.
Yeah.
The deal was that he had to stay in there at least 5 years, and his plan as an artist was to create an art studio, a one of a kind art studio where he would display his artwork.
Yeah.
Well, that got derailed one day when he met Vera Clemente, Roberto's widow.
Yeah.
Vera was telling Dwayne the story of her life, and there had been a flood in their home in the Dominican, and it had destroyed many of Roberto Clemente's memorabilia that she had collected during his life. Dwayne heard this story and decided that he wanted to help her restore some of the materials. As a thank you, she asked if he would be willing to host a party one night where everybody could come in and see the artwork that he had restored.
Yeah.
It was very well attended. He confined it to the first floor of his building. It's a 3-story building.
Yeah.
People were trying to go upstairs to see more of the collection, and there was none.
Yeah.
Well, he made the decision that he was going to dispense with the art studio and make this entire building all about Roberto Clemente and the Pirates. So there's a room for 1971, there's a room for 1979, the big World Series teams.
Yeah.
Great photos, black and white photos, just a wonderful collection. But Dwayne has a side business that we didn't know about until later, and this is why you have to go. Dwayne took us down to the cellar of the building, and we found large casks of wine.
Really?
They are painted according to the player who owns them. Major League Baseball players come to the Roberto Clemente Museum to taste the wine that Dwayne has curated from Napa Valley in California.
Yeah.
They buy it, store it there at the facility, and when their team comes into town, they come out and they all drink wine in the cellar till 3 or 4 in the morning
Wow.
while they're uh, you know having a good time with their teammates. So this
That
is this is Dwayne's business. He comes out to California to work with the wineries from time to time. But what a tremendous life for a guy who's just an artist, and
yeah.
now he's a museum curator and a
And
inventor.
aficionado. Yeah. That is what I wouldn't give to be in one of those 3 a.m. sessions with the
Oh
bar,
yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah.
listen, just to listen to the stories. Yeah.
We showed up at the shop for our tour, and Dwayne greets us wearing a Miami Marlins jersey. And I go, well, why are you wearing that? And he says, oh, they gave it to me last night. The guys were here till about 3 in the morning, buying and tasting wine. So,
After this is over, I'm going to need Dwayne's number. I'm going to need a direct contact. Uh, Rob, I feel like me and you could talk. We could talk like for hours. This is
oh
great,
yeah, yeah,
great
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
We are planning this year's tour. It looks like Detroit,
Yeah.
Toronto, Buffalo, Syracuse, maybe
Yeah.
Cooperstown again. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. I love minor league parks. Here, I'm lucky where I live. There's several within, fairly short driving distance, including the Braves now have their double A team about 2 hours away from me. So Pensacola, Biloxi, Montgomery, I'm right kind of in the middle of all those. But yeah, me and my wife made that trip. We have started chasing ballparks. So we did the Louisville trip 2 years ago, Chicago, Cincinnati. I've been to the Trop in Tampa and to Marlins Park. She has not been there yet. And then we did Houston and Baltimore this past season. And so we're also looking at where we're going this year. We kind of want to go to Cincinnati again for opening day because I hear it's such a big party and a traditional thing to be in Cincinnati. So we might do that. And then we're definitely going to Fenway this year because my son moved to Boston. So going to go visit him and
Oh, excellent,
catch a
excellent.
Red Sox game. Yeah. So, and we've got, like I mentioned, our resident Royals fan is actually a resident of the Philadelphia area. So he has season tickets to the Phillies, and I believe he got season tickets to the Pirates this year too. So he's just a baseball guy, but he's actually a Royals fan. We got a guy in Connecticut who's the Mariners fan. That's a long story, but we'll get him to tell that. And yeah, we've got people, but we were talking off camera, Rob. We don't have anybody on the West Coast, so we're happy to have you as part of our family here now that we can find somebody to talk some West Coast baseball.
Oh
I
yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta ask, you moved from Chicago, and so how long was it? You said you're about 13, is that right? When you moved?
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Like, did you become a Giants fan or did you still pull for your Cubbies? Like, how did you manage that?
Still pulled for my Cubs, still do today.
Yeah.
Um, and although I will say that when they won the World Series in 2016, the torture's over. If
Yeah.
they never win again. I understand. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
happened. I've got everything I need.
Right. Right.
I like the Giants because it was the team I could easily see. I've always been a National League fan, so
Yeah.
even though I could go over to Oakland to catch a game back in the day, it was I wanted to go see the Giants, and
Yeah.
that was where I could see the other National League greats. Um,
Yeah.
so we'd go to 20, 30 games a year.
Nice.
Um, and then we talked a little bit about minor league baseball
Yep.
for the fans listening who may not even consider a minor league game. You're missing out.
Definitely.
The minor league stadiums, there's a proximity that you don't get at the major league games.
Absolutely.
There's a simpleness to the game.
It's
There's more of an
baseball.
appreciation.
Yeah.
I am a baseball fan. Don't get me wrong, but on a lot of these trips that I just told you about,
Yeah.
what we focus on the most, sometimes we don't even go sit in our seats. We just
Yeah.
walk the ballpark,
Yeah.
experience the ballpark, experience the people
Hmm.
that are at the games, the fans, learn more about them. We go to the bars before and after the game just to talk to the fans and
Definitely.
see what brings them out to the game. Are they
Yeah.
there to see a specific player, a specific team, or are they just out to enjoy the game of baseball? So,
Wholeheartedly agree. When
mhm.
we've made our travels, the best moments have been when we talk to people. I remember being at a bar directly across the street from Camden Yards. I forget the name of it now. It's right across the street. And they had their own beer. I forget what it was called. I got a picture of it, but I didn't think about it. We had been to the Babe Ruth Museum that you mentioned, and I'd bought a shirt. It's a baseballism shirt with Ruth on the back with a three, and it says the Babe on the front. I wore that the night we were there for 2 days. I wore it the second day into this bar and started garnering a lot of attention from the Orioles fans. They weren't playing the Yankees that week; they're playing the Royals. But oh, are you a Yankees fan? And then as soon as they heard my accent, they're like, "We can't be a Yankees fan. You're from the South." But it started a lot of conversations though, and everybody was super friendly. We have not yet come across anybody in our trips that wasn't friendly, ready to talk baseball, ready to just buy you a drink, and it was just you mentioned it. We were talking about it before we started, just connecting with people. Baseball is such a great way to do that. And
Yeah,
we're looking forward to the next trip. We're also looking maybe at Detroit. We want to do Pittsburgh. We've heard great things about the Pittsburgh ballpark. So I'm looking forward to getting back out there and talking to people. And we're the same way. We don't necessarily sit there and watch the game. We get up and walk around and explore. So we've had a lot of fun doing that.
yes, yes. Mhm.
So, all right, so you said this year, one more time, you said Detroit and Toronto, perhaps?
Yeah, and then minor league parks probably in Buffalo and Syracuse, and then we want to go back to Cooperstown again,
Yeah, absolutely.
check out the new inductees and see what changes have been made. There's always changes to the hall.
Yeah, we're going to know in about, as we record this, actually a week from today, we should find out if there are any new inductees. Beltran looks on course to get in, and hopefully Andrew Jones, my guy, from the
Hmm.
Blues will get in. I got to ask, so if you go to Toronto, are you going to stay in the hotel that looks out over the ballpark? Because that looks like the ultimate thing to me. I told my wife we got to do that. We got to stay in that. I don't know how much it costs, but
Well, I have been before,
have
uh,
you? Okay, okay,
quite a while ago,
yeah,
back when the hotel, which is located in kind of right center field,
yeah.
uh, the the glass was not one way.
Oh yeah.
And the day I was there was a couple doing something
Oh,
inappropriate
oh
in
no.
a hotel. This happened a few times.
Yeah.
So the hotel needed to make some changes so that
Gotcha.
you as baseball fans couldn't see into the hotel rooms.
Right. Right. We're
So
trying to watch baseball, guys. Okay.
yes,
Come
yes.
on.
And and for those of you who haven't been to a game in Canada before, um, I've also been to Expos games back in the day. This is the first place I've ever seen baseball cheerleaders. A few
Okay.
times during the game,
Okay.
you'll see what you think are ushers come
Yeah.
down the aisles, but then they start trying to lead you in calisthenics and cheers for the home team. Very
Okay.
interesting concept to kind of go along with it, but it never occurred to me that there were baseball cheerleaders.
Well, that was the biggest thing I think that struck me, Rob, watching the games in Tokyo last year and in Korea, I believe the year before
Yeah.
that. They had cheerleaders all over the place. And
Yep.
we had a guest on for this same podcast series telling his story. His name's Mike Wilson, great guy. He travels, he spent time living in Tokyo, and he said baseball over there is college football here. Like they take it so seriously and it's so passionate and it's an event and they've got guys walking around vendors walking around with hoses that pump out beer. So all you do is walk up and they just so we got to go to Tokyo now too, check that out. Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, so let's get to this amazing story you have that really caught my attention when you sent it in to me. I'm just going to kind of let you tell the story here, Rob, and um, I think this resonates on so many levels with so many people. I think it will resonate. So just tell us about this story. I won't give anything away here. I'll just let you tell it the way you want to tell it. This apparently started when you were about 15 or 16 years old.
Yeah, yeah,
So jump right into it and tell us, Rob, about Doug Clary.
yeah. So, folks that are listening, when you get a chance, go to baseballreference.com and look up Doug Clary. The last name is Clarey.
I did that, by the way. I looked him
Okay.
up. Yep.
When I was about 15 years old, we had moved from Chicago out to the San Francisco Bay Area. And my dad, as I told you earlier, was working for United Airlines. Um, my dad invited one of his coworkers over one day, a guy by the name of Mr. Clary, tall guy. He's probably about 10 years older than my dad. And I shook his hand and he says, I've got a present for you. I said, oh, okay. He says, I hear you like baseball and I'd like to give you a bat. And it was a Louisville Slugger bat. And on the handle was the name, or I'm sorry, on the bat itself was the name Clary. And Mr. Clary pointed out to me, this is my son's bat, but they misspelled his last name. They left out the letter E. And I said, oh, well, who is your son? Now, Jason, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I knew almost every single major league ball player. I
Yeah.
loved the game to the point where, I was a
Yeah.
baseball nerd extravaganza,
Right.
but I had no idea who Doug Clary was. And he says, well, my son did play in the major leagues, not very long, but he had one really, really important hit um, the previous year where he won a game at Candlestick Park. And I go, oh, really? And so I go want to go look him up and stuff like that. So my dad took this bat, and he was a bit of a woodworker, and he made a wooden base for it.
Nice.
So he mounted the bat on the wooden base, and then we put the base onto the wall, and it hung in my room all through high school. Go off to college, I took my bat with me and hung it on the wall in my dorm room. Graduate college, start working in San Francisco for the Pacific Gas and Electric Company. I've got it hung up in my room at my townhouse. It traveled with me for years, and at some point, it ended up in storage. Okay. Fast forward to 2020. It's the pandemic, and I got nothing to do, as most people. And so let's do some cleaning. Let's get rid of some of the stuff that we have no use for. And I come across the bat and I go, oh, this is still really cool. And along with the bat was a little article from Sport Magazine. I don't know if you remember Sport Magazine. It operated in the 70s and 80s. And there was a little blurb about Doug Clary's home run. For people that wonder what happened, in April, I think it was April 28, 1976, the Giants and Cardinals were playing a game at Candlestick Park. It was a day game, a getaway game. So, of course, it went into extra innings that mounted over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Doug Clary was a utility infielder on the Cardinals. The only reason he was on the team was because of a multitude of injuries. His minor league career was not anything to write home about. He was just kind of hanging on, but he got the call. Interestingly enough, Doug went to Homestead High School in the Bay Area here and just happened to be coming to San Francisco. So his entire senior class from his baseball team went up to the game that day in hopes of seeing Doug play. And he told them, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to get into a game. I've been sitting on the bench for weeks. The game goes into extra innings. In the 16th inning, the score is still 2-2, and Don Kessinger is on base for the Cardinals. The last available bench player is Doug Clary. They call upon him to hit against the San Francisco Giants, Mike Caldwell, and Doug hits a home run, I think on the second pitch that he saw, a line drive over the left field wall that put the Cardinals ahead 4-2, and they went on to win the game 4-2. It is the only hit of Doug Clary's major league career. It was a home run, and it won the game.
Yeah.
Doug finished his career 1-for-4. He was out of organized baseball by 1979 or 80. And I don't know what happened to him. So fast forward to 2020. I find the bet and I said, what am I going to do with this? It's not worth anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I could find out if Doug's still alive. So now I've got the internet. So hey, let's go see if Doug is still alive. So I'm looking around. I find a couple articles where people had interviewed him, and it turns out that Doug moved back down to the LA area where he was born and opened up a pizza parlor a couple of blocks from Dodger Stadium called Cheech's Pizza. And he looked like the proprietor. So, well, geez, next time I go down to LA, I'll take the bat with me and I'll just give it to him.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything for 4 years. The opportunity didn't present itself. And then I was making a trip down that way and I decided to look it up again. And he's no longer the owner of the pizza place. But it looks like the new proprietor is Allie Clary. Maybe that's his daughter or wife or somebody. So I drive down and I'm looking for this pizza place, and it's about the size of a phone booth. It is just it's a walk-in slice place.
Yeah.
There are a few tables and chairs in there, but wouldn't hold more than 10 people. I walk in the front door. There's an older gentleman at the counter, and I see a woman in the back, and I said, "Hey, I'm looking for Allie Clary." And he motions for her to come up. And I say, "Hey, are you Allie? Do you own the place?" And she says, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I have something for you. I have to go back to the car." So I run back to the car. I get the bat and the article from Sport Magazine, and they're both standing outside the front of the place, going, "What is he going to do? Is he going to give us a summons or something?" And I pull the bat out, and Allie breaks into this wide smile and says, "Oh my God, Dad, he has one of your bats."
Yeah.
And this is when I realize that the older gentleman is Doug Clary.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, we go inside. They make me lunch, and he's in tears. He just can't believe that this is a thing.
Yeah.
He wants to know all about my father, who he never met.
Right.
I've never met him, of course, so I want to know all about his life.
Yeah.
His graduating class at Homestead High School included Steve Jobs, who went on to form
Did
Apple.
all right. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He said they were casual friends. He said that he tried to sell real estate, just didn't interest him after baseball, so he got into the pizza business. He bought this tiny little pizza parlor, worked at it till he was about 65 or so, and then gave it to his daughter to run. He works a couple of shifts a week, and he drives Uber to keep himself busy. Super nice man.
Yeah.
Just a pleasure to be with. Told stories about all of the uh, teammates that he's had through the years. So I've been doing some work with a creative company out here, and I approached the manager of the company and I said, "Hey, we got to do something. I don't want him to just put the bat on the wall. I want people to know who he is."
Yeah.
So we scoured the internet for articles and old photos of him and found a bunch. We printed them on tin so they would last,
Yeah.
and made a basically a mural to go along with the bat for the wall in the pizza place. Allie was very excited. And Jason, what I didn't understand is Doug is not the type to talk about himself. Most of the kids that grew up eating pizza at his pizza parlor never knew that he was a Major League Baseball player.
Wow.
And
Wow.
now they did. They come in and they want to hear all the stories about Uncle Doug's baseball career.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
So
Yeah.
he's a bit of a celebrity now, which I think he likes. Um,
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Which is awesome. I mean,
yeah.
that's great. And so fortunate that he was there that day.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Got very lucky. I've been back a couple times since then, and every time we get together and we tell stories and talk about you know what we might be able to do to get get the word out about him. Uh,
Yeah. That's
I,
just that's just an awesome, just the odds and just first of all, I would give my right arm to have batted one time in the major leagues. I would give the other arm if I'd hit a home run in that one at bat. Probably give
Mhm.
the leg if it had won the game for my team. Because what an incredible, it reminds me of Field of Dreams and Moonlight Graham, right? He got to
Mhm.
he didn't get to make the one at bat, but like this guy got to live the dream, regardless of how short it was.
Oh yeah.
Live the dream, and that's something that 99.9% of us can't say, right? So just fantastic story there. Fantastic.
Just a Superman. The bat I have is not the bat that he used to hit the home run. It's just one of
Right.
his bats from
That
the
that
plant.
would have been even better, but yes.
It's
Yeah.
it's mounted in the pizza parlor. So if you're looking, if you've got a few minutes and you're in the LA area, go to Cheech's Pizza and you'll see it on the wall. You may have trouble finding the place, but
Absolutely.
look it up on Google Maps.
If they mention your name, do they get a free slice, do you think?
Maybe that'd be
Maybe.
great. I
Oh, man. That's Rob, that's a great story. I'm so glad you sent that to us. I'm
mhm.
so glad that you were able to come on. I feel like we could do another episode with you and have plenty of material. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I've got plenty of stories.
yeah, I would love to dive into the 1970s in the Bay Area. I don't know how many games you went to, but that was the time of the swinging A's and a lot of really good stuff going on then. And I'm actually my next historical series is going to be the 1970s, baseball 1970s. So might have you back on if you're up for it and talk some 70s baseball.
That is a sweet spot for me.
Awesome.
Doing the immaculate grid every morning, I end up
Yeah.
choosing
Yeah,
players from the '70s. So
absolutely. If you're not already familiar with it, I'm finishing up a fantastic book by Dan Epstein. It's called Big Hair and Plastic Grass. And it's all about
oh
70s baseball. And we're going to have him on. I've already made contact with him. He's going to come on and talk about it as I get closer to doing that series. So if you haven't ever checked that out, check it out. Great book. It'll take you back, I'm sure. I was born in 77, so I'm having to learn about the 70s baseball, but it's been a whole lot of fun. That book is amazing. So check that out if you get a chance.
will do.
And again, Rob, can't thank you enough. I mean, just awesome stuff. You guys keep making those trips. Keep us updated on those trips. We'd love to hear more about what goes on, and we'll definitely have you back, man, for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
You too, Rob.